So home in Louisiana. Huh? You go. I'm from New Orleans. Yeah. I got a lot of friends down home. Down there in the bayou, bro. Where you fighting out of now? Says Georgia? Oh, that's right. They put GA instead of LA. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, correct.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. Welcome to Miami. And let's get this thing started. What do you say? We're going to start out with the theme, Let Freedom Ring. Now, Saturday night's fight. Let Freedom Ring, as you know, one of the most recognized slogans in the history of the world. Perhaps nobody said it better than Dr. Martin Luther King in one of the most famous speeches of all time. And we just had that anniversary of his march on Washington. However, right now, the most important thing about Let Freedom Ring has to do with our friends in the Ukraine. Marred, senseless war, Russia acting like the bully that they are. It's threatening not only the peace and the sovereignty of our friends in Ukraine, but really the very existence of our world as we know it. It's serious. And to that note, Don King Productions is going to host this Saturday night a local nonprofit universal aid for the children of the Ukraine this Saturday. Now, I could go on and on about Don King and his list of accomplishments, his list of fighters, and the iconic moments reads like a who's who of boxing encyclopedia. He shattered all of the promotional records in the history of boxing. So much career-defining, iconic moments, so many. But now, Don King is fighting for the freedom, for humanity, the indefatigable advocate for peace, freedom, and women's rights. Ladies and gentlemen, this man really needs no introduction the world over, but here he is, the living legend himself, the icon, the original, only in America, Mr. Don King.
Thank you. I wore this mask as an example. I see that many of you all don't wear your mask, but you got to wear your mask to protect yourself, your children, and your fellow Americans. Do what they say, even though they're confused because they have the flip disease. And the flip disease, you don't know what, take it off, put it on, take it off, so you don't really know what to believe. But to do one thing you believe, you don't want COVID-19. That's a solid there. So whatever it is that we have to have, that virus has to be checked. And I'm just happy and thrilled that I can be here before you to talk about freedom and peace, but more importantly, to talk about the people that are going to take place here in Miami High to fight. A lot of the fighters are missing, but by Friday they shall be in and be examined and to be approved for the weigh-in, when the weigh-in comes about. But right now, I want to say to you all, it's God bless America, but a new nation conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. This is the fundamental principles of our great nation that we have to work for, fight for, live for, and die for, because it doesn't come cheap. It comes costly with property, money, and human life, dealing with humanity. So what we're going to do today is talk about these people that have really helped to make this thing what it is. We have a beautiful young lady out in the audience, Christy Martin. She's a terrific person, and I love her, and I think she just does a wonderful job for boxing as she did with me as a wonderful job of being the champion. And so she's in there, so I want you to say hello to Christy Martin. Yeah. Now is the time that some of the guys are missing, but we're going to deal with what we do have before us because it's an indication of what's to come. Now, these people on this dais, they don't like each other. Don't let them, they smile in your face and all the time. They want to take your place, the backstabber. You know what I mean? They don't want to, you know what I mean? They're being gentlemanly and, you know, just being human and being nice, but they want to knock each other out. You know what I mean? Because they want a world championship. You know what I mean? They don't want to be out there dealing and wheeling and don't get no money. You know what I mean? So M-O-N-E-Y is the motivator. You know what I mean? And so then you have your credibility, your stature, and esteem. That is why I encourage you to have your social distancing and to wear your mask. You know, well, it's better to need it. No, it's better to have it and need it, not need it, than to not need it and need it and don't have it. You know, y'all know how the confusion goes. You know what I mean? But have it. That's the thing. That's so you can be protected. You know what I mean? So right now we got a terrific card that's set up here for you, and this young man that just jumped off the shrimp boat. You know what I mean? He came flying up here. You know what I mean? You know, he's not used to land. He's like used to water. You know what I mean? And so he's sitting here beside me, and I can feel the water pressure coming up. You know, just past my knees right now. so him and his manager both are here. And he's a terrific fighter, as you know. The only loss he suffered in 18 and 19 fights, I think, is to Trevor Bryant. And the same thing happened to the young man, Bermane, Stiverne, who's not here. His loss was to Trevor, you know, both fighting for the world champion. So now we want to restore that. You know, he's now the champion. He didn't think he could make it. The people thought that this guy, Damaris Scott, whatever his name was, the Mack truck they called him, you know what I mean? He knocks out everything in sight. You know, the road be closed. Like y'all see the people working out there and they have the sign say, stop, slow down. Well, that's what they were doing with this guy named Scott, you know what I mean? But the waterman just, he took that with a grain of salt. Because what he got through with Scott, you know, they put him in the hospital and maybe he's going to retire, you know what I mean? But hopefully he'll be strong and keep going. But he put a hurting on him. He put a hurting on him. And so I want y'all first to meet this young man who's destined to be the world champion. And we want to give him an opportunity to meet and greet and say to you all, first of all, how he loves you and how he want to become a people's champion, because that is what really counts. You know, you the people, you know, we the people, I should say. And so first of all, let me introduce his manager. Both of them got the same name. Can you believe that? Jonathan? You know what I mean? So, you know, so we have him here both. So the double J is at hand. So let me bring up the J that don't take no pain, but it gets all the gain. Jonathan Liberto. Jonathan, come on up here, Jonathan, so we can introduce introduce this guy. Come on, man. Let that guy come in. Give him a shot.
He's a coach. That's Martin.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, that's Roberto, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. That dog all right, man. Shit. Yeah, come on up here, man. You're hiding in the woods, you know what I mean? You don't want nobody to know, you know how it is. Yeah. But anyway, talk to him, man. Talk to him and then introduce your great fighter.
How you doing? I'm Jonathan Liberto. I'm Jonathan Guidry's manager. We're extremely excited to be here to defend his title. He's been working hard. We're looking forward to it. We sure appreciate Mr. King putting us on the card several times. He's been great to us. And Jonathan Guidry's looking to defend this title and bring this belt back home to Dulac. Without further ado, this is Jonathan Guidry.
Jonathan Guidry, the champion, y'all. Talk to him, Jonathan. Yes.
How y'all doing today? Like I said, we're honored to be here again. And this is a big fight. It's going to be a good fight. I think Stiverne's going to be in better shape than he was last fight. So it's my biggest test. And we're going to, no more talk. We're just going to leave it in the ring.
All righty then, you know. That's Jonathan Guidry. Jonathan is a gentleman and a scholar, a really nice person. But when he gets in the ring, he loses his identity, and he forgets about everything and everybody. His focus will be on the man before him, whoever it may be. Because he told me that he could fight and beat anybody. So, and that's what he's in the process of trying to demonstrate and illustrate to you, the public. And this is what we're gonna look for him when he comes in the ring on Saturday night. Now we have some tough guys here that's I'm going to introduce to you. And you can see some of them here. We deal with what is right. The cards that you got to be able to deal with them. If you get knocked down, you get back up. You dust yourself up and get back into the game. So we're in it to win it. We can't give in, we can't give up, and we can't quit. And so this is what the Ukraine is demonstrating to the world. The Ukraine and President Zelensky he needs help. Where you see these big headlines where America is giving $45 billion, but they're giving it to them in antiquated equipment to fight Russia's sophisticated equipment. So they're throwing a rock and hide in their hand. Let's call it a spade. Let's let it what it be. If you're going to help them, and you are helping them to be able to do what you can do, the best they can, with giving them a rake and a plow. And other man got a big machine and got the style, one all the field articles and things that's made by Grainer. They spell it. They say it 3 words: United States of America, made in America. You see the commercials. But here, what they do, they give them their Civil War weapons to fight against the sophistication of the nuclear age, but to do all the bombs and the missile things that they shoot over there and killing people. They just killed, I think, 60 or 70 in the last couple of days. Citizens, not the army. Not that it's going to be a difference in death, because death takes us all. But the idea is that they're fighting humanity and they're fighting freedom. This is what counts. It ain't like they joined to the Ukraine. They go to anyone, the same as we did here with the 13 colonies in founding this great country called America. But the idea is they're fighting freedom, and we can't afford to let freedom lose, because that's what we're all here for: liberty and freedom, sovereignty and prosperity. And so we need to help ourselves when we're helping anyone that's defying and decrying and disparaging freedom. So this is why I'm here, and to be able to work for the freedom and peace. With Zelensky now, who knows what it'll be tomorrow. But we're going to do what we have to do right now. So I'm asking President of the United States, Joe Biden, to bring him in tune with the times. Take us out the Civil War now and put us into the modern war, a World War, World War II weaponry. At least give him that. And so I think that he will, but he stays confused, he suffers from the flip-flop disease. So you have here, and we have another guy that's missing. He's a unifier and a disunifier. His name is, and I love him. I think his name is Bermane. Well, Bermane, is the excitement of the show, but now he has the flip-flop disease because he has COVID, and it's very serious. And we pray to God, and let us all pray that he gets well and he can knock this COVID out, because he can't remember. He can't remember names. He can't remember who he's representing. So it's a mental illness, that you have to look and just pacify him and go along with him, because he's suffering. And we are suffering too, because we don't want to see much as he's a preacher of discontent, who is a master of divisiveness. And no one can beat him when he put on his hatred hat and he starts to make accusations, allegations. Nobody can beat him, boy. You're talking about a champion. He is a champion, man. Spreading the rumors of hate and discontent. So, so I have to laugh at him, because I've been knowing him for 30, 40 years. And I've seen all these different transgressions and different type of elevations and things. But Al, we miss you. We're going to pray for you, and hopefully you can remember who's saying what, where, when, and how against you or for you, because whoever he talks to last, that's who he represents. And he go against himself, You say, what is he saying this for? He's going against himself, So, so I want y'all to have a little pity, little love for Al, because he's doing the best he can with what he has to work with. And that ain't too much. So everybody happy here. So we're having a great time. We're going to have a ball when we have the fight here. And now we have to go down to, what is this, Trayson Wiggins. Is Trayson here? Yeah. Oh, man, I'm glad to see Trayson here because Trayson really keeps up a lot of noise going on. You know, Trayson is a champion, and he's going to be defending the champion against, what's it, Nigel Finner? Is Nigel Finner here? All righty then. Then we've got a full match here. So let me bring up this guy that everybody wants to know about and hear about, and he makes you know about him because he don't give you no money to rest. You know what I mean? You hang the phone up, the ring is ringing right back again. Did I forget something? You know, but this is Trayson. I'm your champion, and I want to be able to go out there and fight. And you say, okay, hang up the phone, bing, it rings right back again. You know, what did you do? He said, did I call you before? Well, let him answer that himself. Trayson Wiggins, y'all, the champion. Going for the title.
How y'all doing? Thanks, Don, for another opportunity to showcase my talent. And yeah, I'm ready, man. I'm ready. I'm put my heart and soul into this training camp. And I'm not just ready for, the fight this weekend. I'm ready to show the world, man, that I'm him. I'm definitely him. I'll take the top guys, man. I want the next best thing, definitely. You know what I'm saying? Nigel's good. He's a good opponent, but it's my time, you know what I'm saying? Definitely my time. I don't care how fast he is, how strong he is. You know what I'm saying? He got one mistake to make in the ring, and it's over. You know what I'm saying? It's over. And everybody made mistakes, so I just hope everybody ready for a scorching match.
Well, thank you, Trey. Yes. He preaches what he said. Well, he put that, he says, I can talk that talk, now I'm going to walk that walk. All right? But it's an impediment there somewhere. I heard a voice crying out of the wilderness, stop him, don't let him go, stop him, because he ain't going no further than this. You know what I mean? I know his wishes and his ambitions are just fantastic, and he's seeking greatness to go out to fight for the world's championship. But I'm sorry I have to disappoint him. And so I keep hearing his voice, and it ringing in my ear, so then the phone ringing, and it's the other guy, Finner, you know what I mean? He said, I'm Finner, I'm the stopper. I hate to say this to you, but I'm going to be your champion for the world. He's the champion of whatever this NABA is. He said, but I'm taking that on Saturday night. And so you heard him, you've seen the challenge, and now let's get the answer to the challenge. Come on, Finner. Oh, where's he at? Come on up here. Let that man talk about you like that, man. Yeah, play the dozens, man. There he is, y'all.
Good afternoon, everybody. I want to thank Don King himself. I want to thank the gentleman in the back and for this opportunity. We've been working very hard. This fight was actually supposed to happen about a year ago. Some things came about and it didn't happen, and I feel like now is the perfect time. I believe in perfect timing. And we had a strong camp, very good camp. I've been working hard. I've been boxing for 15 years, large amateur career, large pro career. And it's my dream, and it's coming true. I'm very excited, and we're going to put on a great show on Saturday. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Bennett. So you got one there, the challenger and the foe. One has to go. ain't no stopping us now. That's what that guy Franklin said. We on the move. So we have to deal with that. Now, here's a guy that get confused with who's representing who. But he ain't he hasn't really captured the flip-flop. So he want to make it clear and unequivocal that he is the man, that he's the one that's going to be the champion, and he wants that world championship now. And he's the guy that everybody loves and recognizes and appreciates. And I want to bring him up here to let him talk to you because he's the champion of the middleweight. That's Ian Green. Ian Green, is he here? Well, bring that man up here, man. Ian Green, y'all. Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? If you know me, man, you know I don't really talk much. All the hard work was done in the gym. Shout out to both of my trainers. I'm here to show that I ain't just a top middleweight, but I'm the best middleweight in the world. So y'all tune in tomorrow. Saturday, y'all in for a treat.
All right. Woo! He's the best middleweight in the world. You heard that, didn't you? You didn't say that in the neighborhood, in the state, in America, the world. You know what I mean? So who's going to be able to challenge that? None other than a guy named Castro. Is he here? Yes, he is. Oh, my God, Castro, come on up here, man. This man done wiped you out already, you know what I mean? Yeah, show him what it really means. You know, you want to be the champion, you got to be the champion. And that means you got to whoop me.
Don, I got to interpret for him, okay?
Okay.
Buenas, mi nombre es Alexander Castro, soy colombiano. Vengo a dar una buena representación acá. Gracias a Don Key por tenerme acá, a mi manejador de California. Bueno, vine bien preparado y yo sé que voy a salir victorioso y llevar el título para Tuluá, para el Valle del Cauca y para Colombia. Gracias.
Okay, he can interpret it now. Let's get it.
All right, guys. He says he'd like to thank everyone here. Obviously, Don King, the man. He wants to show everybody he's very grateful. He felt that it was his need and his
I want you to give everybody on that counter.
to show everybody that
On the front row and
he's on this level and he came here to be victorious against Ian Green and whoever they put in front of him. He's very grateful to be here, to be his first fight here in the United States, and he's going to make a good impression on his first show.
Okay, you from Cubano, huh? Colombia. Colombia, okay, Colombia, yes. From Colombia, you speak Espanol. Yeah, Colombia. Colombia, Castro. So we got him coming in from all over, so he's coming in to see what he can do against Ian Green. Ian is a bad sucker, though. I ain't tell you no lie. You know, he's an elevator that runs to the top, you know. So he ain't one of them stallers. So we're going to have a real terrific fight with that middleweight fight. And I'm lobbying already now for the middleweight championship fight. The same as I'm doing for Jonathan Guidry. We're lobbying and getting prepared. All you got to do is to win. Then we got to go out there and make by public acclaim, public demand. Jonathan Guidry has to get a chance at the world championship so he can become the man. So this is all we're doing, and we're going to keep on doing, making boxing come back alive. You know, because not nobody don't know who's who. So we're going to distinguish that and clear the air and let everybody know what time it is. Okay? Now, is Raynell Madero's here? Yes, he is. Oh, Ray is going to come up here. Come on here, Ray. This Ray is starting out, you know what I mean? These young kids are making their way. Come on, Ray. ¿Cómo está, amigo? Muy bien.
Hola, gracias. Gracias a todos por estar acá. Mi nombre es Raynell Madero. Es mi segunda presentación, gracias a mi promotor Don King. Y nada, estoy acá para dar la mejor versión de mí y el sábado espero un buen espectáculo mío. Gracias.
All right, take care, my man. Look out for him. Tell him what he said.
No, he said, thank you everybody for to be here. Thank you, Don King, for giving his second opportunity to fight his show. And he got to give a good show Saturday night. Thank you.
Okay. Morales. Nelson Morales. Is he here? Yep. Okay, Nelson, come on up here to meet this challenge. You know. Nelson Morales, y'all.
Yes, sir. Well, first off, I want to thank God because I believe without him, this wouldn't be possible. I want to thank him for this opportunity, for allowing us all to be here. I want to thank Don King Promotion. I also want to thank Ernie Bezzero for this opportunity, my man, and my team. You know, I'm really blessed to be here. It's a great opportunity. I did not know how big this was going to be, and I'm loving it. I love the feeling. I thank you, my opponent, for accepting the fight. But I just want to let you guys know that I'm doing this for my family and I'm doing this for my kids. I'm ready to fight. Nothing else.
All righty. The challenge is on. So these are the ones that are here. And let me see who else is on this paper here that's here. Evans. Is Evans here?
I think that's all of them.
Another one is, what is his name? Penn Darvis? Is he here?
No, he's not.
Okay, well, at any rate, and it's going to be 3 Cuban bouts that's going to be taking place that we'll have for you by the time Friday comes for the weigh-in. And so the card is going to be an elaborate card, and it's going to bring excitement and enthusiasm and great ambition when you see these youngsters, which I call youngsters, but these young men that will be coming out to stake their claim to a fame and affluence. And it's all going to be done because we believe in the people. We the people, that's the most important. I'm a promoter of the people, by the people, and for the people, and my magic lies and my people ties. And so we want all of the young people there, like those beautiful little children that's there in that second row there, you know what I mean, to have ambition and to be able to have your desire, because you can be what you want to be, you know what I mean, but you got to dedicate and commit yourself to see it through. And if you get a stumble, fall, get knocked down, get back up, dust yourself off and get back into the game. But stay relentless to what you want to be, you know what I mean, and you need God for that. So I'm really happy to hear him speak of God, because that's who I walk with. I walk by faith, not by sight. Sight is temporal. Faith is eternal. And so you got to be able to deal with what's real. You know, not what you see, what you don't see, but you believe is there and it is there. So we're going to have a ball here to highlight on a Saturday night. Friday, we're going to have a weigh-in, and we should have all the fighters that be here, then those that have been approved or disapproved, whatever it is, because boxing is an ever-changing game. That's why they put on their signs and on their posters, subject to change. But we're going to have fights to whoever that's left. Is going to be a plenty to give you an appetite and to fill your insatiable appetite, I should say, and give you the thrill that is real, because you can make the transition, look in the mirror, and you can identify yourself with the aggression, the dedication, the commitment, and to see that I'm going to be what I want to be, you know. So this is, I'm very happy to be here with, and to be at this great Embassy Suite by Hilton Hotel. And we'll be at the Highlight, which my friend owns. His name is Phil Ruffin. His wife is a Ukrainian. You know, we had the Klitschko boys that we have fighting here, both of them being champions. They are Ukrainian. Their mother is Russian. So they're really fighting themselves. I mean, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen, where we have an unprovoked war by Vladimir Putin because he was humiliated and embarrassed because he tried to restore the Soviet Union. And he went to the President Zelensky and invited him to help him to, you know, restore the Soviet Union. Well, if he did that, he would be under Russia's rule. So Russia would make the decisions about freedom, peace, prosperity, sovereignty. You know, he would give that up, as they did in World War II, when they lost more casualties in the Soviet Union than any other country in the world, fighting Adolf Hitler. All right, so now they fought for freedom and independence. And now here comes this Putin that wants to take away their independence. And so when they flatly refused them and insultingly disparaged them even thinking of taking away their freedom and sovereignty, he underestimated them. He underestimated them, and their resolve was freedom, peace, or death. And that's what they're demonstrating, and that's why I want to make it clear that we want our president, who is supposedly fighting for the fundamental principles of our great nation, a new nation under God, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal, and that what we have here is a nation fighting for freedom and peace against the great nation of the British Empire, and we prevail. You know what I mean? So therefore, in order to do that, we got to help the Ukraine to attain victory over this senseless, needless war that's taking place over there in the Ukraine. But we can't do that, like I said earlier, with Civil War weapons against the sophistication weapons of the day. So we got to be able to put out our word and have our voices be heard. Yes, help, you know what I mean, but don't help us with a handicap when they all at the same time. You're doing what the OJs say, you smile in your face, and all the time they want to take your place, the backstabber. You know what I mean? So we don't want that to happen. You know, we don't want America to get that reputation, because it began with Putin when he left Afghanistan. Afghanistan withdrawal, the troop withdrawal, said he would not leave any Americans behind. And then they said, what about the Afghan allies who fought side by side for 2 decades against the Taliban? We will not leave any of the allies to America behind. And what about the women's rights, that there's a law of the Taliban, a woman don't exist other than to be before the stove, fat and pregnant. And so now he says, we will hold up for the women. But what did he do? He left Afghanistan even when they killed 13 people a week or so before he's supposed to take the troop withdrawal. So he didn't keep his word nowhere, which he terribly and terrifically damaged our reputation, our commitment, our word, and now all of the allies of the world are questioning whether or not America will stand beside them or up with them if they should be attacked. You know what I mean? And that's horrible. All right, but now he deals with all of these different threats because he plays on the most gullible people in the world, which is my people, the black people. They are gullible because they believe in promises. We didn't get it this time, but we'll get it next time. You know, just stay there, you know what I mean? Yes, we failed, but we ain't gonna fail long. And that's to the next election. In the next election, here to come again with the same bullshit, you know what I mean? But the idea is we go for it, you know what I mean? And we vote in spite of it. We vote, and the system is the enemy. The system says white supremacy is the enemy, which it is. But at the same time, Biden says it's more powerful than ISIS and the IBIS. You know what I mean? And so he says these things, and that I told you Biden was all right. Man, he's for us, man. We got to stay there and vote Democratic. Well, that's bullshit. You know what I mean? Because what he's telling us is one thing, and he's doing is another. But he got the key jerk words to say to make us emulate and imitate voting for the Democratic Party and not being able to fulfill his promises. Well, the people are the most important. No party. The American people. That's what we the people. And so we got to be able to see through this farce and this type of chicanery that is being exemplified on us. And that's what we're trying to do in illustrating to the world that America stands for freedom and peace and independence. And so that's what we have. The ring mat is on the flag of the Ukraine. We have the trio from Ukraine that will sing the Ukrainian national anthem. You know, we have a family that's here in Florida. The mother needs a wheelchair. Her sons, 3 and 4, needs clothes. That we're going to find a way to dedicate this and commit them this weekend that they go back to where they're staying in Florida and be able to go and purchase clothes. I'm going to call on all the friends of America, the great humanitarian minds, and friends such as Bezos, who gave $100 million to my dear friend Dolly Parton, you know what I mean, for her contribution to America and what America stands for. So we're going to continue to do all we can, every way we can, but let's separate the trees, you know, and the forest. Let's not play the game, you know, throw a rock and hide your hand. Let's deal with it honestly, forthrightly, with candor and in integrity, you know what I mean, and togetherness. So I'm really thrilled to be here, you know what I mean, and witness see people that come in and be a part of it. And that's what we're going to try to demonstrate and illustrate to the world, that we stand for freedom, peace, and independence. And we're going to demonstrate that by our endorsement of the great, brave Ukrainian people, which Putin underestimated. He thought that they would surrender like the Afghans did in 11 days. 11 days after the troop withdrawal, the Afghans surrendered. It's despicable, disgraceful, and cowardly, but they did it. And so he said, well, powerful as Russia is, and the Ukraine was a part of the Soviet Union, they know what Russia is, then they should be glad to come back and surrender, because they don't want us to be able to take over. And he made a mistake. The Ukrainians said no, freedom and peace or death. And that resolve got us into this war, which could evolve into a World War III nuclear war, which would decimate the whole planet Earth, you know what I mean, in less than a week, according to our late great President John F. Kennedy. And so with all of you all, with that faith in mind and the greatness of our nation, I say God bless you, God bless America, and I want to see everybody and anybody at that fight on Saturday night, but on Friday we'll be back again at this podium and with the weigh-in to see who's really going to actually be fighting on Saturday night. And that's going to be something kind of amazing. And we're calling the vernacular of the ghetto SKD, something kind of different. So,
Yes,
so thank
indeed.
you all, love you all. God bless.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Don King. Now I understand we have some questions, so I'll bring around a microphone. And before I do that, I'm going to be joined ringside, as I'll be doing the announcing, but ringside commentating will be the one and only Miss Christy Martin. Also, the champ, Nick Campbell, will be ringside as well. It's going to be fantastic. Now, ladies and gentlemen, some questions here.
This question is for Jonathan Guidry. Jonathan,
All right, but you got to get it call.
you were within fractions of winning the WBA Heavyweight Championship against Trevor Bryant, and you're actually the underdog when you fought Dakari Scott. You said something after that fight that I'd like for you to repeat to the audience here today. What happened to the Mack truck?
Got a flat tire. The Mack truck ran out of gas, and he gassed out, and then we took over. So now we're ready to fight for. After this fight, it's gonna be a tough fight, but I want a shot back at the WBA title. I think we could take Dubas. That's my next. That's what we're going for.
Very good. Anybody down front?
I got a question. You got another one?
Question from Don King.
Oh, here I am. Hi.
This question is for Don King. DK, when you put together intimate cards like this for a cause that's greater than the card itself, what goes into your mindset in producing something of this magnitude? There's no record in the sport of boxing that any record that you break will be your own. So what goes into the mindset of producing a card to where the cause and the theme outweighs what the combatants can produce?
Well, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Because everything I do, like I said earlier, I walk by faith. That is not seen, but that faith to say a mountain can be moved, you know what I mean? The ocean can be removed. And when we start something and then we have a cause, that is all God's children that's made by him who sits high, looks low and keeps his eye on the sparrow, our Father in heaven. And he gave his only begotten Son, Jesus Christ, to sacrifice himself for the humility of others, to recognize others before yourself. And so I never cease to amaze myself because I don't know what's going to happen, and I don't know how it's going to happen, how I get involved, but I do know that I'm walking with my Savior, Jesus Christ, and He is leading and guiding me in the ways that I do and what I do. And so that's why when I find the enemies, they're all coming at me from all different directions. You know what I mean? And really, not what Take Two in a movie. The live bullets is in my head right now to be proof of it. You know, bomb my house, bomb me, bomb my car, and all of these can be looked up on Wikipedia. So the CD lie, because they told us all blacks lie, cheat, and steal. They're worthless, shiftless, and no account. So He keeps me here, and here's the spam risk. That's another game they play on you. It was the spam. Go back, spam. And say, oh, ye of little faith, get thee behind me, Satan. And so we're going to keep on working and working very hard. That was a very good question, but my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, who humbly acquiesced to death. You know what I mean? Because if He's God, He didn't have to die. You know what I mean? But He acquiesced to death to have the humility to demonstrate that others are more important than Himself. So we have to keep that in front of us at all times. You know what I mean? And the people can hardly understand it when they say, love thy neighbor like you love yourself. To help them and help them. They can't figure that out. This is your enemy, you know what I mean? But that's what it is. That's what's called faith, you know what I mean? That you should overcome. And so, and this being Martin Luther King's birthday week, you know what I mean? Belated happy birthday to the spirit of Martin Luther King. And the man says the only thing that can beat hate is love. He says that's the only thing that can transform a hater into a friend. So we have to deal with what is real. And what is real is Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. And so that's where that comes from, and that's where it will continue to come from until He called me home to paradise. Thank you.
Amen. Do we have any other questions? One more? What was that? Raise your hand.
I want to ask the actual trainer of one of the fighters on the dais, who I had the opportunity to have a conversation with at breakfast, and he actually fought for Don King Productions, and now he's bringing an undefeated Colombian fighter to fight on this card for Don King Productions. I'd like for him to elaborate on some of the things that he spoke to me about this morning as to why he so dearly loves Don King.
Well, yeah, thank you. Thanks for the question. I fought for Don King back in early 2000s. And I never forget the things that I learned from him. He probably doesn't remember the conversation, but I remember every word he's ever told me. And he probably doesn't, like I said, he doesn't remember anything. I remember the first time I met him, he asked me if I had any friends. And I told him, you know, I have a few friends, not too many. I don't call too many people friends. I don't use that word too loosely. He says, you sound very intelligent, Mr. Santiago. He says, but let me ask you a question. Do your friends help you make money? And I thought about it for a second, and I said, no. He says, well, my friend, can I call you my friend? I want to be your friend. But the only reason I want to be your friend is that I know that we can make money together. And as long as we make money, you do right by me, I'll surely do right by you. We'll make money together and we'll always be friends. And the day we start making money, we don't have to be friends anymore. Now, some people could look at that a certain way, but I respected that, you know? And when I came out of the amateurs, I won the New York City Golden Gloves, I won the Nationals, I won Internationals, I did all that stuff. I came up short for the Olympics, got my butt kicked by Tarver, and you know, so on and so on, right? I always came up just close enough, but not quite there. I have no regrets. But I remember everything he's always told me. And he says, you know, if we sit at a table together and you're on my side, I'm going to fight for you. If you sit on the other side, I'm going for your throat. And all these little lessons he's always taught me. He doesn't know how intricate he's played a role in my life, but he's taught me all these things. I never ever dreamed of becoming a trainer. You know, I despised my trainer. I was always on diets. I was always, you know, I was like a big man stuck in a little man's body. My head got big when my body didn't match it. So, you know, I used to, like, I'm never going to be a trainer. And then I started training these kids. I was fortunate a couple times. Don sent Ricardo Mayorga to come train with me. I trained in Orwell, Ohio, that's training camp. I met his son Eric. I met a few guys, and I started falling in love with training. Started falling in love with what I was able to produce. And Don had given me one of my first fighters. His name was Shane Chess, out of Cleveland, out of Ohio, excuse me. And I trained him, and he won his first 4 fights, and went out to do other things. But I moved to Colombia, and I met these young men here. I got married, and met these young men here, and I believe I found a unicorn, and I found a kid that does everything. And it's so hard to find a fighter that does everything. And ironic, I'm going to end the story right here. When I found this kid, I came back to the States, and I walked into Don's office. And this was like 3 or 4 years ago. Don wasn't there that day. And I was looking for Dana Jamison. She had, passed or whatever, something happened. I looked for everybody that I knew there back in the early 2000s. Don, I think, was home watching, the news or something. I don't know. He wasn't there that day. So I walked in. I was trying to pitch this kid to Don King. And I was very fortunate to bump into these individuals here who are from California, in Florida, per se. And they said, let's take a look at this kid. And they saw what I saw. So in 2000, like I said, I fought on Don King's show. And I won a few fights. And I lost a fight with him, right? I never had any bad experiences with him. I have nothing but love for the man, and I have so much respect for him. Here I am, I don't know, 10, 12, 15 years later, and my kid is fighting his first fight on Don King's show. So I think it's a blessing, and he doesn't, and anyone who's watching this, Don King has been one of the biggest influences of my life. He sent me a lot of business, and as he once told me, friends make money, help friends make money. He's made me money even when I wasn't with him anymore. So I'll always love him. I'll always praise him, and I'll always have his back. That's my experience with Don King.
Another question here?
We have enough time? Yeah, I'm not a reporter. I'm just working the business. I had a question, or actually would ask Jonathan to make a comment. You work with a man named Les Bonanno, who was kind of the hub of boxing in New Orleans for the last half century, who recently passed. I was wondering if you could say a few words about him.
Yes, Les Bonanno was pretty much a big boxer. He's the one who was been with Don King for a long time, and that was our connections. That's who got me lined up with Don. If it was for him, I'd probably be fighting still club shows, and I wish he would be here with us to see us get the belt and stuff, and we still pushing forward for a world title. And it's pretty sad he's not here with us. Well, he's with us, but like I said, he's the one who got us this road down this path with Don King.
We have anything else? In the back? We're good? In that case, I do believe we will see everybody for the weigh-ins, and then, of course, the event Saturday night. It's going to be a fantastic show.